Welcome in everybody to another lesson. Today we are going to talk about division of real numbers, which, like multiplication, there isn't really much to it. Let's start out with the first case, when you have a positive number divided by a positive number. So we have a positive number divided by a positive. This is the case we're all most familiar with because we've been dividing positive numbers by positive numbers ever since basic 1 all the way up till now. So whenever you have a positive number and you divide it by a positive number, you're always going to get a positive result. Your answer will be positive. So let's do one example here. Let's say I have 15 divided by 3, right? I have 15 divided by 3. They're both positive, so this is just a simple division problem. You'll get 5. You'll have positive 5 as your answer. So positive divided by positive, that's a classic example of division problems we already know. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that because we already know that. Now, another type is when you have a negative number divided by a negative number. A negative divided by a negative. Just like multiplication, whenever you take a negative number and you divide it by a negative number, you're always going to get a positive number as your result. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. That's what you would get. So now let's see, we got negative 15 divided by negative 3, right? Negative 15 divided by negative 3. Well, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So we just have 15 divided by 3, that's going to be 5. Your answer would be positive 5 when you're dividing a negative by a negative. Let's say you got negative 54 divided by negative 6, right? So you got negative 54 divided by a negative 6. Well, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so we know we're going to get a positive answer. Then we just focus on what's 54 divided by 6. That's going to be 9. So the answer would be positive 9. And we'll do one more for good measure. I believe in at least 3 examples. Let's say we have negative 100 divided by negative 10. So we have negative 100 divided by negative 10. Well, of course, a negative divided by a negative turns the number positive. Now you just focus on what's 100 divided by 10. Well, that's just going to be 10. So your answer would be positive 10, or just simply 10. So negative divided by negative is going to be a positive. Now, where it gets interesting is when you have a positive divided by a negative. So this works here. What we're about to do is when you have a positive divided by a negative, or the same way, if you have a negative divided by a positive, it works the same. So let's say I have a positive number, I divide it by a negative number, my answer is going to be negative. I'll have a negative result. Likewise, if I take a negative number, divide it by a positive number, I'll also get a negative number. I'll have a negative result. So if it's positive divided by negative or negative divided by positive, you always get a negative answer. Okay, so let's say I take 3 divided by negative 3, right? So I have 3 divided by negative 3. Well, we have a positive divided by a negative, which is going to make this a negative answer. So we put our negative sign, then just focus on what's 3 divided by 3. That's 1. So your answer to this one will be -1. Alright. Let's say I have 6 divided by -2. So yeah, we got 6 divided by -2. Well, you have a positive number divided by a negative. That's automatically going to make your result negative. We throw on our negative sign. Now we have 6 divided by 2. That's 3. So your answer to this equation would be -3. And then let's throw it in reverse here. Now let's do a negative divided by a positive. You have -9 divided by +3. Well, a negative divided by a positive will be a negative. Now let's focus on what's 9 divided by 3. That'd be 3. So your answer to this would be -3. Alright, one more example here. Let's say I have -75 divided by +25, right? So I have a negative divided by a positive. That's going to give me a negative. Now we focus on what's 75 divided by 25. That's 3. So you would also get -3 for that result. And really, that's all there is. Just like the multiplication of real numbers lesson earlier, it's the same way. If you have a positive divided by a positive, you're going to get a positive answer. If you have a negative divided by a negative, you're going to get a positive answer. If you have either a positive divided by a negative or a negative divided by a positive, you'll get a negative answer. That's really all there is to these. So the next lesson will be the very final lesson of Basic Math 2 before we move out of Basic Math and into Pre-Algebra. That lesson is going to be order of operations problems with real numbers. So stay tuned for that. I hope everybody has a good night. Take care.